Video games are beautiful. The ability to combine storytelling and tactile engagement has made them a widely accessible medium that can provide uniquely captivating experiences and led to their being one of the world's most beloved forms of art. Chances are there are even some games that have had a lasting impact on your life. That being said, an awful lot of them have been made, and not all games are considered equal in their artistic or mechanical merits. Some games just really aren't great. Despite this, any game can have that special something that makes it really stick with you, even if you might not want to admit it to anyone. But I'm here to show you that it's okay. You can like any game you want, even if the critics don't agree, as I'm going to show you some of the weird and terrible games that hold a special place in my heart. Let's start off easy with a classic bit of late 2000s schlocky FPS action. Now, if I told you about an action game about a grizzled space soldier who crashes on an alien planet that's crawling with enemy forces and just so happens to be full of dinosaurs, you might be a little intrigued. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy yet, what if I mention the star-studded cast, featuring the voice talents of Gregory Cruz, Timothy Olyphant and Ron Perlman. The game has around 60 to 70% on IMDb and Metacritic, so it isn't really going to get you punched, but in the grand scheme of things, we aren't exactly talking about a Hall of Famer here. It was kind of short, with cheesy writing, and came out at a time when that kind of FPS was really getting churned out. Still, violent dinosaur planet game. So, of course, I really enjoyed Turok. The game had some really interesting and satisfying shooting mechanics. You could pin enemies to walls and each other with the bow and arrow, and the dinosaur fighting gameplay was genuinely terrifying and awesome. Also, there was a boss fight where you kill a T-Rex by punching a grenade through its eye. So maybe it's not all about poignant messages told through stories with interesting characters married with groundbreaking gameplay mechanics. Sometimes majesty comes in the form of a B game about big guns and velociraptors. Okay, not to seem one note at all, but the next game on this list is also an FPS that heavily features dinosaurs, but don't leave yet, I promise it's the last one. Plus, it also features Jack Black and a giant gorilla. King Kong, or to give it its full title, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, is a 2005 action-adventure game in which you intermittently control screenwriter Jack Driscoll and the titular ape Kong. As Jack, you have to solve various puzzles and desperately fight to survive Skull Island's dangerous inhabitants. Then, as Kong, you beat 7 bells out of said dangerous inhabitants, including that bit from the movie where he rips a T-Rex's jaw off. As far as movie tie-in games go, this is actually one of the more fondly regarded, although it is still very much dated in its visuals and parts of its game design. It wasn't all bad though. There was an immersive novel feature whereby you had no HUD, but rather Jack would announce vaguely how much ammo he had at the press of a button, and the enemy designs were genuinely quite scary, largely thanks to their depictions in the film. Actually, this was young Joewul's first ever FPS, and there are moments from it that I've remembered for years, mainly because of how terrifying it was when you had to fight against centipedes the length of school buses with nothing but a pointy stick while Jack Black's off putting his feet up. And memories from your early gaming career are a wonderful thing. Even if the games don't hold up now, the way they've helped form and develop the way you experience gaming is a very important thing, and is something you have every right to cherish. Right, enough of this light touch nonsense. Now we're getting into some of the real trash. Real under the mattress video game dirty little secrets you hope never see the light of day. And remember the purpose of this video. There's no shame in liking any game, so be patient with me, okay? Cool. Aliens Colonial Marines. Whoa, calm down. Steady. Okay, let me explain. Aliens Colonial Marines, as if you didn't already know, is a 2013 FPS set just after the events of the iconic second installment in the Alien franchise. You play as a Colonial Marine and have to fight your way through hordes of xenomorphs and Corporation soldiers with all manner of weaponry from the Aliens universe. So far so good. However, the game was critically panned on release due to dodgy AI and generally unsatisfying level designs, story and gameplay. it has since become a kind of gaming pariah, and Colonial Marines is now synonymous with disappointing garbage game. Harsh, but fair. Be this as it may, I am a big fan of all things Alien that aren't Alien Covenant, and I have been since I was probably a bit too young to be watching those movies. So when the game came out, I completely unironically enjoyed the chance to interact with that universe, even though the game was indisputably quite poo. You got to shoot aliens, and there was a super dumb boss fight against an alien queen in a power loader, and I had a blast with the game, and I'm not going to pretend that I didn't. And you should never feel pressured to pretend you didn't have fun with a game, because you can find it in anything, so never be ashamed of the games that you love, even if they're this one. There is a certain group of games that are considered by some poor, misguided souls to not be what they would consider real gaming. This is the kind of game that doesn't really have the flashy visuals or high-octane gameplay of most AAA titles, but rather are the kind of low-impact game your granddad might get into, or you might play on mobile, or you might find on a family computer in the noughties, featuring such classics as Fuzzle or Plants vs Zombies, the many brilliant mobile games like Temple Run and Candy Crush, and who can forget the masses of timeless classics we got to play on sites like Miniclip and Cool Math Games, Balloon Tower Defense, the world's hardest game, and the pulse-pounding action of Swords and Sandals. So many hours of free entertainment made by passionate indie devs that you definitely shouldn't be playing in school, you naughty kids. Nevertheless, many of us had a great deal of nostalgia for these games, and they remain an excellent way for somebody to get into the medium and build up their gaming intuition and instincts. Of this area of gaming, my absolute favourite was a game I played constantly as a kid and is responsible for my briefly wanting to become a marine biologist, Feeding Frenzy. So Joel, you've got a YouTube channel dedicated to the analysis of video game systems and the depth of their meaning to us, and one of your favourite games is about moving a fish around on a flat screen so it gets bigger? You better believe it. Sometimes in simplicity, you are able to see the base nature and meaning of our interactions with game systems more clearly, which is to say, fun games are good. They don't need to be high-tech and fancy. If they provide you with the experiences you're looking for, then they're perfect just the way they are. Speaking of nostalgic browser-based video games, you might be familiar with the incredibly popular trend from the 2000s of free-to-play, fully online RPGs, the most famous of which, of course, being the gaming cultural touchstone that is RuneScape. But Joel, you dippy moo, you may be thinking, everyone loves RuneScape. Why are you mentioning it here on this guilty pleasures list, you soft tart? Well, firstly, ouch, and secondly, it's because I never played RuneScape. I spent my sweet after-school evenings playing the much less beloved freemium RPG Adventure Quest and its cousin Dragon Fable. With its fabulously simple gameplay and turn-based combat, large open-ish world, and fairly massive amount of content, Adventure Quest was very probably my first ever RPG and is the origin of my love for the genre. And maybe it's not as cool and kitsch as RuneScape is, but I love it just the same. I sank so many hours into these games and they have a special little place in my heart, to the point that I didn't even want to go back and play them while writing this video because I didn't want them to lose any of the magic that they had. I don't even have anything pithy or heartfelt to say. You're not getting any silly pontificating on deep philosophies of the beauty of gaming. I'm just admitting the fact that one of my favourite games is a weird contemporary to RuneScape that hardly anyone has ever heard of. It's not famous, it's not even good really, I just like it. Maybe you loved Adventure Quest as a kid too and are just scared to admit it. Don't be, there are dozens of us. And if not, you can actually still play it, so you can give it a go yourself. It's free, just make an account, play for 10 minutes and maybe start to doubt my taste in games and the legitimacy of my channel. See what I care. I'll just stay here with my silly little games that I love. Stupid. So there it is, some of my video game dirty laundry. I hope seeing this has helped you better appreciate some of these games and maybe has even helped you take more pride in the games that you love. If that's the case, please share some of the games you would have considered guilty pleasures with us in the comments, as I'd love to hear them. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and feel free to share it wherever you want, because it'd really help me out. There are plenty of other videos on the channel that you might enjoy as well, including one on the best uses of final stands in gaming, so you can check those out and follow me on Twitter and subscribe for updates. For now though, thank you again for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.